president, our commander in chief. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Are we live, Andrew?
Broadcasting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
All right, we're back. We're back, and we haven't touched upon this subject for a minute actually, because we've been busy doing interviews and seeing different artists and stuff like that. We've had Terrell on here, Nathan, he's coming back this Thursday actually. We got Moses coming in this Thursday.
We have a nice little big
We
four going on.
got a nice squad coming in. But yeah, Trump, he did finally reaches his first 100 days. Seems like forever. He's been in office, even though it's been like what, 3 months? Not even.
Yeah,
Like
100 days is
like
about
3
3
months.
months, I'd say.
3
30
months.
days in them. 30 days in
It
them.
feels like he's
That's 3 months.
feels like forever, and you know he's had his I guess ups and downs, if you could say that. Making comments, like there's so much that I keep forgetting every single time I sit down to be like, what did he do? Like I keep forgetting because there's so much, there's some every day. But this is like his latest scandal, and I don't know why, but he really likes Andrew Jackson, like the president Andrew Jackson.
Really? I'm not
And-
surprised. I'm actually
I
not
mean,
surprised. For whatever
yeah.
reason.
And yesterday they asked him about the Civil War. I forget exactly why they asked him that, but he mentioned, he made a comment on it, and it was just this really weird, and I don't know, like people have been up in a frenzy about it. It's been all over Twitter. It's been everywhere, and he obviously doesn't know the first thing about history. So we're just gonna play this clip real soon, real quick.
He was a very tough person, but he had a big heart, and he was really angry that he saw what was happening with regard to the Civil War. He said, "There's no reason for this." People don't realize, the Civil War. Think about it. Why? People don't ask that question. But why was there the Civil War? Why could that one not have been worked out?
Now, the first thing I want to say is that Trump sounds like a high schooler who didn't do his homework before he had to do a presentation every single time he speaks.
He's winging it.
Second thing I want to say is Andrew Jackson died 16 years before the Civil War even started. And he couldn't say why was there a Civil War, because he didn't know that there was going to be a Civil War. And third thing, if he was president during the Civil War, things would have gone differently, because he had slaves. So he would have rocked with the South. So those are, I don't even know what's wrong with this president.
For
Like,
whatever reason, whenever Donald Trump just speaks, I laugh. Like, honestly.
It's
Without
funny.
It's like without even like trying. Like he's super serious, but when we just played that voice clip, I was giggling to myself.
Yeah.
Man. I can't believe our president is saying that.
because the way he talked, like Obama was at University of Chicago on Monday,
Mhm.
and it just felt so nice to hear a clear, coherent president, one that thinks before he speaks. Like,
Yeah,
I was
man.
like, yo, we went
Especially
from that to,
Nah, Obama just had say whatever you will with Obama. He definitely had like an eloquent way with words. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like he pushed his thoughts. He articulated
Mm-hmm.
perfectly. Like you could like get behind what he was saying. Whenever Trump talks, I feel like he's talking like a Twitter message, dude.
yeah, it's like,
Oh,
it's,
everything.
He's
Twitter
he's
message.
keeping it like at 140 characters during his debates. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, there's some of the stuff he said, like he contradicts himself in the same sentence. He repeats words. Like he said, oh, we're bombing Iraq, and then the lady was like, you mean Syria? We bombed. I was like, he doesn't even know where we bombed.
I'm
Like,
just saying, man.
in
If
the
you're gonna
interview,
run,
I was like, yo,
if you're gonna run the nation, you should kind of know the history of the nation you're running.
Yeah.
And
To
then-
keep it simple at the base level, right? I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
and then he said, what did he say? Oh, I forget what he said the other day. He said, I didn't know that this job was gonna be harder than my last job. Taking care of 350 million people is kind of hard.
I think he
Taking care of one person.
I think he did make mentions. I did read it on like a CNN article fairly recently
Mhm.
that he's like, I don't know if he explicitly regrets being president, but he did say that his old life was like it appeals to
Yeah.
him way more now. He's like, yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
miss my old life when I was making billions and not running an entire nation.
Yeah,
It's just one of those things where
because
you
he
should
actually
kind
has
of
to do work.
like, dude,
You
like
didn't
you
think
should
about
kind
the
of realize what
consequences.
you're doing, man. Like changing the nation isn't like overnight snap of the fingers, dude. So
Yeah.
you're elected for 4 years for a reason.
Yeah, because his healthcare bill didn't get passed. Like, you actually have to try to get stuff passed, and
It's not, you're not gonna get stuff done just because you're the
Yeah.
commander in chief. You still have checks and balances. You have the Senate,
Yeah.
House of Representatives, and you have your cabinet too. And the crazy
Yeah.
thing about his cabinet is that I don't even know. From what, the last time I read on it, it wasn't even full. Like there were still
No.
vacant positions.
No,
Are there
that's the
still
other part.
vacant?
Yes, there's still like hundreds of jobs that have not been filled. He only filled his daughter has a job, her husband has a job. Like he's filled those people. Like,
And it's not even that, Andrew. He's also like hiring, from what I know. Because remember, we're talking politics, and I'm not the most knowledgeable. I'm just regurgitating what I hear from CNN for conversation. It's unless I'm like wrong, he has. In the beginning, when he started his presidency, right? He brought people into his cabinet, then prompted to fire them or something like that, right? Am I wrong with that? It's something along those lines where he had people he elected, then for whatever reason they had to leave. In addition to all these other vacant positions. So it's just like the way things are looking right now when it comes to the presidency and the White House, it's a little shaky right now.
There's that, and people left. People just like Michael Flynn left. I forget Andy Puzder left, who was going to be Secretary of Labor, I believe, and who believed in replacing people with robots to work instead. It's like everybody in their job title, they don't believe in that job. Like the head of the EPA doesn't believe in protecting the environment. Like it's just crazy. And then yesterday he rolled back a program that Michelle Obama had that helped Michelle or Barack, one of them. They were like a team though. Like she was in, like Melania's not even in the White House.
I think she was probably one of the most prolific first ladies for sure.
Prolific,
not only,
one of the most beautiful first ladies. Like
yeah,
she actually
she's
did stuff.
absolutely amazing woman.
Amazing.
The Obamas are nothing but class. Like if
right?
you're gonna, you can say whatever you want, but you gotta
The
realize
Obamas are goals, bro.
the way they conduct themselves is nothing but straight class.
You saw him hold her hand when what's it called? When they left the White House, he was holding her hand. Trump left the car, like he didn't even open the door for her, nothing. Like he left it 20 feet behind.
It's common courtesy, man. It ain't common anymore.
yo.
You see it with the Obamas, but the way it's looking right now, man. Do I miss OBZ? Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do. But
Yeah.
you know we're gonna have to rock with Trump for a little bit longer.
Yeah, man.
Everyone's talking about impeaching the president. I don't know if that's gonna really happen.
We just need to win in the next 4 years. That's what needs to happen. In 2020, we need to win. That's when if he gets impeached or not, the next president can't be Trump or Mike Pence.
I just think it has to be somebody with actual basic knowledge of politics and the way the actual
politics,
government works. Just
just-
because you run a $1 billion, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's easy, but obviously running a $1 billion corporation based on architecture and buildings and all that
It's-
stuff is completely different than running an entire nation.
It's more than that. Like it comes like there's businesses and stuff like that, but there's people's health at risk. Like the healthcare bill, theirs was like 100 pages. The Democrats was 900 pages. They're like, oh look, this is government. This is not. Yeah, because it's difficult. It's complex. Like Trump even said, oh I didn't know that was hard too. I was like, yeah, you don't know anything. You don't know what it takes to be president. You just decided one day, oh I'm gonna run for president and I'm gonna win, and he actually won. And yesterday he rolled back a program that helped. That brought education to little girls in developing countries or in poorer countries. Like he rolled that back. I was like, damn, what he's gonna take away all the good that people have done. Everything good that people have done, he's gonna take that back. And now he wants to drill for more oil, make the coal companies come back, which is never gonna happen. Like it's not immigrants taking jobs, it's robots, it's technology. Like there's jobs for Twitter now, there's jobs for Facebook, there's jobs for building solar powered windows or glass or whatever. Like those are the jobs that people are having. Like the GOP is the grand old party. Like I didn't know that until like last year or whatever. I was like, why are they in the past? They're stuck in the past. You can't progress if you're stuck in the past. And I don't even know what. Like I just feel like he's stuck right now. Like Republicans don't like him and Democrats don't like him. So until he starts negotiating with people, is not gonna go down the way he wants it to. What do you think about this, Jordan? You've been a little quiet for.
In
It's
general,
just so many things to say, dude.
Yeah, in general.
I mean, I just feel like, well, we got 4 years to go, so I mean,
At this
most
point,
likely
all
we're
we can
not-
do is hope.
Yeah, we can just hope, and at this point, there's no way he's gonna be for the second term. There's no way he's gonna become president after 4 years.
Yo, unless it's like a total 180 in like fortune where he just like kills it, which I don't see it happening. But if he ends up killing it, then maybe I'm all for him proving me wrong. Because if he proves us wrong, then America becomes great again.
He's
It's
not.
a win-win.
He's not though.
But,
That's the thing.
If we can't really hope for him to prove us wrong, because then.
No, I'm not.
you
I'm
know,
just
we're-
saying if it
yeah, I know.
happened.
The one thing that's helping him is whenever he gives a speech, people praise him. Whenever he gives a coherent speech where it doesn't sound dark and gloomy, where he's not tripping over his words, where he's actually speaking in full sentences, everybody, oh, he's presidential now. No, that's not what being presidential means. That's not. It's not just talking to somebody. In high school, you have to give a speech. You talk to people. That's not what being president means. You have to conduct yourself in a certain manner. You have to act a certain way. You have to have policies that help people, not healthcare where the poor and the old are the ones who are getting screwed over, but the rich and the young are the ones that are benefiting from it. That's not how it works. It's it's rich young people pay for old people because they're retired. And they get sick easily, so they don't have like steady income. Like they have Social Security, all that, but they need the Medicaid and Medicare more than young people do because we're healthy.
That's where the tax dollars.
Like we can eat McDonald's every day and we'll be alright. Like yeah, it's not good for us, but we'll be alright. If you're older, no, you gotta watch what you eat a little bit more.
Take your vitamins and all that.
Yeah, like old people. I work across the street from CVS. Old people go to CVS every single day to get pills and stuff. Like they really need that help. Like we don't need it as much as they do. And like with the like I said with the coal company, like those jobs are not coming back. Like we're moving to clean energy. Like one, yeah, those jobs are going to be lost, but we just need to move forward. And two, why would you not want clean energy? Why would you want coal? Like coal, if you breathe that stuff in, is bad for you. Like that's the other thing I don't understand.
If you look at the coal miners, man, just like spending like maybe 20-30 minutes, they come out with their like skin covered in like black. They come out like literally pitch black.
Yeah. Teach them how to do this. Like it's not that hard. Like Van Jones, I think he has a program where he teaches people how to work with solar power and solar energy. Teach them.
That's the future, man. Renewable clean energy, man.
Teach them about the future.
Once coal's gone, coal's not only valuable, but once it's gone, you're not getting it back as opposed to solar and wind energy. When you can just keep getting it, it's natural. You know what I'm saying?
And the sun is always going to be here. Or at least for
as long as
we're here.
As long as we're here.
For the next 1,000 years or so, like the sun is gonna be there. It's gonna be day, night, every single day. The sun is always gonna be here. And now but the whole thing that Trump is doing is spreading. It's spreading into Europe. Now in France, their election with Marine Le Pen, she's basically like Trump. Like her dad started a party called the National Front. In English, it's the National Front. Like he barely believes in the Holocaust. He hated Jews, and now she wants to ban Muslims. They want to ban the headscarf in France and stuff like that. I saw a Muslim woman in the store at Walmart or Kmart the other day. I was like, how do people get so mad at that? Like she's just shopping with a headscarf on. Like to me, I'm like, yo.
People are just too nosy and don't mind their own business. That's the thing. That's the idea that I have. This is me coming in as a liberal, as a young kid who hasn't seen most of the world. The way I look at it when it comes to cultural issues and societal issues is if it doesn't affect me or I'm not hurt in any way by it, then let it be, man. If people want to express themselves by wearing hijabs and burqas and all that stuff, then let them be, man. Whatever. If you're gay, I don't care. It doesn't matter. We accept all people.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like what Eminem said. If you're nice to me, I'm gonna be nice to you. I'm gonna treat you how you treat me.
Just
and that's in the
courtesy.
Bible. That's in the Bible. Like they read the Bible, but they skip that part. They skip. They go to God hates gay. Like but he said, but Jesus loved everybody. So why you not doing that? Why you picking and choosing? That's messed up, man. I don't even know.
I do have a question for both of you guys though. Because if there's one thing I do kind of agree, I don't know if I agree with it. I don't even know if I got it right completely. When Trump was elected, he did put an emphasis on making America better, right? And I think that's something that all of us definitely want because we live in this nation. We want to see ourselves. We're still a world superpower. We're obviously not the level we once were. We're super in debt. Things are looking a little negative for us. Do you agree with the sentiment that that we should focus on ourselves as opposed to being involved in all these foreign affairs? Do you think that we're obligated as one of the biggest nations in the world, right, to be the global superpower? Because I personally do not think so.
You go first, Jordan.
That we should help out other countries first before helping our own.
It's the idea that America's the world police. We just bombed Syria. If you really think about it, we are the world police. We're involved in many different things we don't even have to be. Granted, there might be alliance. I know that we're very close with Israel.
Israel.
We're very close with Israel, so that's why a lot of
South Korea.
Yeah, that's the reason why we catch ourselves within the Middle East because Israel is our ally and we have to back them up. And they're also, if I'm mistaken,
even Saudi Arabia.
Even mistake me if I'm wrong. Obviously, call me out if I'm wrong, because I'm not 100% knowledgeable on these facts. But Israel's a small nation. Yeah, and I know that they're not obviously at the level we are, so they depend on us for backup. But do you think America should step away from that and focus on ourselves and build ourselves up again to prominence? Or do you think that we should continue to be the world police and continue to influence the entire world?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the army for Israel, isn't that like one of the strongest?
I don't know. If I do remember correctly, I had a history class last semester, and I don't know if it still stands, but there was a certain period of time where Israel's Air Force was one of the most prominent, the most powerful in the world. But this was around the 1900s, like around maybe like 1930, 40, 50. I don't know if they're still the same.
They have to go back, right? I think when you're 18 or something like that. Like they had that rule where if you're 18, you have to go back to Israel to serve.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, but that's just to keep it layman's term, keep it simple. Do you think America should continue to evolve itself in foreign affairs? Or do you think we should isolate ourselves and focus on from within?
Honestly, I don't want to seem like selfish like this, but I think we should, focus on ourselves, get everything fixed, and then we can decide whether we should focus on other countries.
All right. Is taking global politics? This is a very complex subject. It's very difficult, very complex.
So many bits and pieces into it that you don't even consider.
Because there's so much going on, like businesses in other countries and stuff. Well, all right, first of all, I think making Jon Stewart, when he did a talk over the summer when Trump was getting really popular, and he was like, he's saying Trump is saying make America great again, make America great again, he said nobody asked him what makes it great right now. Nobody asked him that question. I was like, dang, that's actually true. Nobody asked him, what makes America great right now? I think that it's people. Like, if we could live, like the happiest countries in the world are places like Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland, places like that. And those are closer to socialism than capitalism. And so there's less of a divide between the rich and poor. And I think that if that happened in this country, that would be great. But there's so much hatred towards gays. There's still a lot of racism towards black people. There's been a rise in hate groups in the past couple of years. I forget it. I think it was the Southern Poverty Law Center that does that. They see all the hate groups, and even black Muslims like who want to separate between white and black. Like they even count them in towards that. But there's definitely been a rise in hate groups, and to make America great, one, you need the truth. You need facts.
First and foremost, man.
First and foremost, that has to be there. The truth is the truth. You can't have alternative facts like Kellyanne Conway said. Two, you need people just to live in harmony. Like, just live together. And I think that comes from lack of talking to other people. Like, at Iona Prep, like, I got to talk to a lot of people. A lot of people there are Republican, but they're still my friends. That doesn't mean that I can't be friends with them. But, like, people, like, you see who just watch TV and get what they know from TV. Like the Daily Show went to a Trump rally, and then this one lady said, I have everything made up. Oh, she said, Obama's Muslim. I have everything made up in my mind, and nobody can change that. That's wrong too. People need to learn how to grow. And I feel like it's an individual thing first, and then it's a group thing. Like you need to be able to change your mind and think about things and see, oh, this is where this person is coming from. You need to see different viewpoints. Like with the whole thing about Black Lives Matter. Some people look at it as a terrorist group, and some people see it as, oh, black people are getting killed by the police, unarmed black people. It just happened yesterday. There was a 15-year-old kid who got shot by a police officer. 15 years old, 3.5 GPA, unarmed, got shot by a police officer. So stuff like that needs to change. Regarding the world, we're so deep into it that it would be hard to stop right now at this moment. And all these countries have been affected by America, by United Kingdom. Like we talked about this girl Tapiso who used to come here. She had a British accent, and then Jordan asked her why, but she's from Zimbabwe. And I was like, because England took over almost everything. That's how you know it's serious, because she has a British accent from Africa. And like they still talk, even when you watch African movies, like they still talk in like the proper way, the way that British people would talk. Like they say rubbish or something like that instead of garbage, like the way they talk. So I think that, and now these countries need help. And with all these trade deals from global politics that are all these trade deals, Trump lied. He blatantly lied. America's not losing from these trade deals. He's like, yeah, we're in debt, but we're way better off than any other poor country, because they're the ones who are losing. They have to follow the rules of the WTO that put America first. There's TRIPS, which like they do patents. So like if you make something like a medicine in a southern country, because it's basically divided north and south. If you're in a southern country, Africa, South America, India, and places like that in the Middle East, if you create a medicine, then and you don't create a patent for it, they could come in, create a patent, take that, and if you use it, they could sue you. So it's rules like that that actually don't help other countries. So if you want, and that's the other thing, it goes into immigration. If you want people to stop coming into this country, their country has to be great. Their country has to be great again. Like Argentina, their country, like we just watched this today. They were prosperous. They were building cars. They were doing everything. They were kind of like, they were like the U.S., but like a little bit after the U.S. They were doing this. They were doing that under this one president. Then another president came in, and they followed the rules of the World Trade Organization, and then they just fell apart. Then the factories closed and all that stuff just to abide by what the U.S. says. So I don't think that per se the U.S. has to just shun people out, but they have to change those rules if they want to stop like illegal immigration, like they say, because that's what's making people come here. Like trade deal, Trump was kind of right. NAFTA, it ruined Mexico. It was good for the U.S., but it ruined Mexico. As soon as that trade happened, people went to China and other places like that. Like farmers in America get subsidies. The farmers in Mexico don't get subsidies. Like they don't get money from the government to keep their farms up. Like, so there are a lot of trade deals that hurt the other people. So I don't think in general America has to do that, but it definitely has to fix its own problems. Like places like in Kansas, Governor Sam Brownback, he took money from schools to help another problem. I forget exactly what the other problem was. I was like, why are you taking money from school? It's things like that. Like simple things like that. Like, no, you don't have to take money from schools. You need to put money in schools. You don't need to. Trump wanted to give $54 billion to the military. He wanted to put it for military spend. I was like, no, we're paying $600 billion already. More than like the next 10 countries combined. We don't need that. We don't need that at all. So it's like, where you put your money into? Like, we could give free education, like Bernie Sanders wanted, or we can make it easily, so you could pay it off easily, which what Hillary said. And I think that both of those are good, because if you're paying like $30,000 a year, then room and board, then all the little things like food and
that
stuff,
all
like
adds up,
it
dude.
all
Little by
adds
little.
up. But if you could afford it, like maybe what, $5,000 a year, $3,000, something like. People used to be able to work summer jobs and pay for college. That's crazy.
I think we're slowly getting back to that, though, especially within New York City, because you have the CUNY rule coming in. I don't know when it's supposed to take effect, but I do know that tuition and CUNY are supposed to be
2018. I think
2018. Oh, so very soon, actually.
Yeah.
All right. To whoever's in high school is lucking out, man.
Right.
The SAT took out the writing section. Now CUNYs are like pretty much free unless you do room and board, but that's awesome.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about that next. So we're gonna take a little quick break, and we'll be right back.
Very eloquent answer from Andrew. All right.